All right.
Okay.
Welcome to your podcast.
Thank you for introducing me. Hi guys, my name is Justin. Welcome back to Love is Pod. Today we have a very special guest. This is my friend Samantha Lobo.
Hi.
Woo! Cheer,
Woo.
everybody. Clap.
Was I supposed to clap?
I mean, I was urging them to clap, but I'm not mad at anybody clapping for themselves.
Okay, I love me.
So, today is Valentine's Day, and we have gotten together to talk about love. Where are we right now?
Currently I am single.
Right.
I'm in my, I guess, mid-30s now. I just turned 34 a couple of days ago. And yeah, just dating around. It's kind of cold in New York, so it's not a ton's happening.
Cuffing season has frozen over.
You know, I'm not a cuffing season kind of girl.
I never really understood it. I got it, but I'm just I don't want to be limited to this.
You know, I made jokes about it that I would, yeah, of course I'm going to participate in cuffing season. Then, you know, fall comes around and I'm just like, I'm not going to do this.
No, literally. No, I still feel you. I deleted my dating apps this week.
And you're going to download them again in a week?
Most likely.
Okay.
And that's not the point. The point is I have gotten to a point where I'm like, men kind of just are not, they're not a thing for me right now. I'm very much okay with being single, alone, working on my own thing. And I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at it.
You know, I am super comfortable being single at this point in my life just because I feel like I've done the work. I've done, working through my own stuff. And then, just getting comfortable with who I am and self-love and all of that. So I'm super comfortable with being single at this point. But, there's also just days that are kind of triggering or days when you're it's cold and I just want to come home to someone and just talk and hang out. Just literally just have someone to hang out with.
It gets to be me at 3 a.m. and I'm just wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to put a pillow behind me?
Right. And then there are other days when I come home and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad.
No,
there's no one here.
Well, that too. But I was going to say, who's going to cook for me besides me? I just want to come home to, my male wife. Just make
your male wife?
My male wife. Or honestly, since I am the writer, I'd probably be the male wife cooking at home. But, you know what? We're past that.
You know what? I'm a big believer that cooking is man's work. So...
Cooking is people work.
You don't need a man wife. Just a man.
And that's what we're here for today. Okay, so I actually met Samantha during a dating run club by lunch. Mm-hmm. I currently don't run. Anyways, here's me on the Today Show talking about how much I love running.
I think these more community-based things, like working out together, is a good way to meet people and actually get to know them.
I went 2 or 3 times. The first time, I met Sam, and I was like, oh, cool, this girl is so amazing. Do you still go?
Oh, I don't go to run clubs when it's cold. Just my body can't handle it, but...
I was thinking about that on the way here. I was people make the decision to go out and run in the cold on purpose.
Well, you must be a actual runner then.
Yeah.
A marathon runner.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a marathon runner. I'm more of a fun runner. I do enjoy the occasional 5K, but I thought it would be a great way to meet new people, especially new friends. Sure, the dating aspect is there, but I also do just want to meet people because you just never know who you're going to meet, what opportunities those people can bring to you. Also, it's just great networking.
Like you, I met you there.
Exactly. It's not everything. You don't have to be so tunnel focused.
Yeah. And it's not a very tunnel focused kind of situation either. It's not show up, date people. It's more show up wearing black if you're single, wear colors if you're not, and we just run, and after that we get beers, and it's just that, and you just talk to people after. People do have romantic relationships there, but it's not you need to be searching for romance there to go.
Though it can be.
I've
seen it get pretty aggressive there. And I'm
aggressive how?
Sometimes it feels like all the women are just pouncing on these men at Run Club.
Yeah.
And I'm just I don't
know. I also see the men pouncing on the women. It's it goes both ways.
I guess I'm coming from the perspective of women where I'm wow, they're they really go after them, and I'm just standing there I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. I don't want to chase anyone.
And I was gonna say the only other gay guy that I met at Run Club is Brian. Hi, Brian. I don't know if
Brian's the
you'll see
best.
this, but Brian,
And it's great because
I have Sam here with me right now.
he came into Run Club as someone in a relationship, but always wore black
Yeah.
just to fit in. But we love him for it because
No, it's kind of hilarious.
He's become one of my really good friends.
No, he's amazing.
So if it wasn't for Run Club, if it wasn't for, just people coming and just trying to meet new people, we wouldn't have all met.
No, yeah. And I'd rather have friends there than just be like searching for a relationship. And
Right.
that's my only reason of going.
So, yeah, but those events can make you feel like you have to search.
Yeah.
Or like you're running out of time.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I hate that mentality because it's not, I don't think that's healthy.
It's not.
So, I love the idea of those kinds of clubs and community-based, groups, but at the same time, I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on us to be like, we have to meet someone tonight, or we miss our chance. And that's not, I don't think that's the mentality we should take into dating. We should take in the mentality of, if it's meant to be, it will be.
Yeah.
If you're aligned, it will be.
Yeah.
Your person's not going to pass you by.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are aligned with the idea that, the things will just come to them when they do. I was actually just talking about this with like a lot of the people I'm friends with, and I'm just like, this kind of yearning that people have for romance kind of pushes it away from them, because if it's like the only thing you're hyper focused on, it's like, you feel this one singular lack in your life, and it makes you an insecure individual.
Yeah.
And that affects every other part of your life and every other relationship that you have. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
I 100% agree with you on that, because at least when I'm thinking about dating, or really just anything in my life, I'm thinking about how can I manifest it into my life. And I'm a big manifester and big
Let's
woo-woo
talk
girl.
let's get into the woo woo.
Super into woo woo. I guess we can start with past June. I was looking for a new job, and I had been unemployed for a while, and I really deep dove into this program and with a mentor called Love Her Wild podcast, Brooke Carver. She's phenomenal. We just kind of dove into just healing trauma and working through like your own stuff, because you can't attract the things into your life that you want unless you are in an aligned place, unless you are at a higher vibration. And unless you've cleared out all the things that are like dragging you down, like any kind of trauma you do have that you just haven't worked through.
I also loved her content because you explained it to me over us getting lunch in the East Village about kind of like your energy vibration being a sort of like building, and everybody wants to be at the 11th floor or something like that, but you can't really take the elevator or something like that. Can you explain that actually?
I don't want to give too much away because I really would love
go to her page.
Go to her page for sure. But so the way she describes it is that, manifesting and vibration and alignment, it's like an apartment building, and on the 12th floor is everything that you want, and at the bottom floor is kind of, sadness, anger, depression, and then as you raise up, as you heal like what's inside of you, you raise up on these floors. Like, as you get a new job, you make more money, you can move up to the nicer apartments. So think of it like that, and then everything you want is on the 12th floor, the job, the relationship, everything. But if you don't consistently live up there, if you don't live on that floor, you're not going to meet those people, you're not going to get those opportunities. And that's not to say that you'll never go upstairs.
Is it sort of just like the focus on trying to get to the 12th floor doesn't allow you to work through the bottom floors? Right.
You have to consistently be up there in order to get what you want. And if you go up there as like a sad, depressed person, and you can, we all end up going to the pool once in a while.
I'm depressed as we speak.
Right. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, take a breath.
If you go up there, sure, you can get the opportunity for the job, or you might meet your dream person, but you won't be able to sustain that relationship if you haven't worked through your stuff. And that's that's not to say that you'll never be sad or depressed. You will, but you'll consistently know how to get back up there.
Yeah, exactly. I think as long as you believe in the fact that it can be for you, there's nothing really stopping you but yourself, kind of thing.
Exactly. So she teaches you kind of how to journal through your issues and work through any limiting beliefs or blocks that you have, and then eventually, just naturally things will just be attracted to you. And within a month of me jumping into her program, they're like the full intensive, I got my dream job. And now I'm just kind of letting great things come to me. And you know what? Every day something great happens. Or we
were just talking about it literally just today. Valentine's Day, we're both single individuals, but it's not like a bad day whatsoever. We actually had pretty good days today.
Right. I got a free lipstick at Sweet Green, full size from Lip Lab.
I had a really good sandwich today.
Yeah.
And I have plans.
I have a fantastic roommate that got me flowers just because.
Yeah.
And you surround yourself with better people or like better energies or just because you made room for it.
It doesn't, like, when I was thinking about it, like when I was going through my own thing with just like insecurity about my love life, like when I was thinking about the idea of my community and the people around me and like the things that I actually love doing, bringing my vibration up into a space where I can, you know, enjoy my life without feeling like I need a person there with me to, you know, feel like I'm a complete person. I didn't think it would mean as much as it did at that time.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, what you think of is not always how it feels. Like, the things that you want very often don't really feel how you kind of, like, wanted them to or you expected them to.
Right.
And so I didn't expect people being around me and, like, all of the great, you know, people that I know and their great activities to, like, make me such a happy person.
Right.
Like, I literally was sitting there and I'm just like, damn, I think the only thing that would make me happy right now is a relationship. And I'm just like, you get to a point where it's just like you're tired of doing that whole narrative and you're just like, I need to do something else. How do you feel like you've grown as a person with the changing of beauty standards in the past decade or so?
So, at least growing up, I went to a predominantly white school. So, I would say that it was difficult in the sense that, you know, what was being shown to me was that the standard of beauty was white.
Yeah.
You know, as time has gone on, things have gotten more inclusive, thank God. And you get to kind of see yourself in media and like, oh, wait, that's not actually the standard of beauty, you know. There's lots of features and looks that are beautiful and different races and all that. Which, you know, I'll even get into being a woman of color and Indian. You don't see that on TV as much either.
Not
like,
really.
You'll see other races, but like Indian women, you don't see a ton.
The only thing I really can think of is like Bridgerton.
Right, and which is super cool that she was like the lead, right?
Yeah.
Which is very exciting, but
it's mainly white people falling in love that we see.
And if it's like Indian men or Indian women, you don't see them as the lead usually. Yeah. And if you
side character more than anything.
And if they have an accent off the bat, which we don't all have accents. Yeah. Which is, it's not fair to label us all, you know, as like we don't belong. Yeah. Which, not that, you know, if you have an accent you don't belong, you do. But it always felt that way, where I was like, I just felt like an outsider in that way. Which also doesn't make you feel like you're part of the beauty standard.
A lot of things feel like off limits to you because of your race.
So it was the accent stuff, and then you're always seen as the friend or something like that. You don't see usually people of color as the romantic interest.
Yeah. I think of it like dating as a person of color, as a black person, it's never like you're the main interest. It's like you're a means to an end sort of thing. Or at least that's been my experience. Literally, like, dating has just been... I feel like I've been making guys kind of better people, and then, you know, when we end up leaving the relationship, it's like, I'm the same way. Right. Like, I don't feel like a lot of my relationships have, like, changed me fundamentally in a way. Like, I've been in love, but I don't feel like I've been, like, fundamentally changed by the people I've been in relationships with.
That's interesting. Yeah. I feel like I'm fundamentally changed by some of it. Like, you know, if they traumatized me. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
No, but also just like, you know, if they treated me super well and were a good partner and was healthy and it showed me what love looks like or like what a healthy partner should look like, that's a way that it affects me. Because I hold on to that and I'm like, okay, this is a great example of this.
I can hold a grudge.
This is a great example of this. And I'm going to remember this as I move forward. Yeah. There's something you said that triggered something in my memory about dating, and I want to go back to it.
What was it surrounding?
Oh God, what did you say? Oh, also just about dating and like back in the day, like early 20s. Something that I've noticed was
the shift in the culture from like the past decade.
Something I noticed was that I used to be fetishized a lot, and you know, even if I would just message a guy on Hinge and we would chat, and he'd be like, I was like, let's wait for him to say, where are you from? Yeah. Because I knew it was coming. And it always was in my early 20s for whatever reason. And they would always say it, and then one of my friends, my white friend, she goes, no, but he's just asking you, like, what state you're from. Oh. And so I was like, That's
Oh,
very,
girl.
very naive. But okay,
Oh, wow.
I was like, let's test it. I go, so I say New York, and he goes, no, but like, where's your family from? And she goes, oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, I told you.
It boggles my mind how the other half lives. I'm just like, wow, you guys really don't have this, like, overlying pressure on everything.
Right.
That it just, like, you know, it affects the rest of your experiences with life.
But I also think they give each other the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I just, honestly, I don't think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you my experience. This has been an experience over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And
You wouldn't have thought the way you did if you didn't experience it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's happened so many times. But as I've gotten older, it stopped. Like,
Perfect.
I don't know what happened, but the shift in the culture, it stopped.
I think people learn to shut up.
Yeah, people did learn how to shut up. Guys don't ask me that ever now.
Perfect.
And if they do, it's like, oh, like, what's your ethnicity? And it's usually deeper into the conversation. It's not like right off the bat. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
I hate that.
No.
When we were in Cuba, this man came up to us and he looks at my friend and she's beautiful. She's blonde. And he goes, oh, where are you from? And she goes, Connecticut. And he goes, oh, great. And then he looks at me, but he's like, but where are you from? I was like, oh my God. And my friend goes, I'm going to kill him. And I go, it's not worth it.
Right.
It's don't. But she gets way more mad than I do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the culture has shifted, but it also hasn't in some ways.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it depends on where you are. In
Yeah,
New York,
yeah.
it has shifted.
New York, it has shifted, but I also feel like with the regression that everything's on, like the path of regression that we're on, I feel like it's getting a little bit weird now too. Where it's like, I think a lot of people are self-isolating or like they're kind of waking up like us and just being like, you know what, I think being alone right now is the best option.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like other people have gotten this, you know, mentality that they should actually be single more than anything?
I mean, if that's what you feel is right for you and you don't want a relationship and you don't want to be with anyone, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't even focus on like what they want. A lot of people stay in relationships or like in friendships just to stay there because, you know, either they feel like they invested a lot of time and energy into it, or, you know, they've been in contact for like a long time and it's just like you don't have to stick around for anything that you don't want to be a part of.
I think that's the worst reason to stay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
You're doing that person a disservice too.
Yeah.
Let them find their person then.
Oh, yeah.
Or like you.
The sooner you guys like
separate, the better.
Yeah.
Just because you've put in 10 years, I mean, if you don't feel happy or aligned, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Is that how you want to spend
That's
the rest
your
of your
life.
years? Yeah.
Guys.
And who you decide to commit to, it's the biggest decision of your life.
Oh, yeah.
And it can either make or break you. You know, this person, you can marry them and they could ruin your credit score.
True.
just in, you know, in practical sense. But in other ways too, like it could destroy your confidence if you pick wrong.
Yeah.
You could have kids with this person and they could be a terrible parent. And the signs were there, but you're saying that they're not, but they were. You know, because they didn't take care of you in the way that you needed them to, and they're not going to take care of your kids.
That's what I think. A lot of people don't really date people who like them or date people who, you know, they don't feel like they should be with, but they're just like, you know, this is the easiest thing for me because they just, you know, something's stopping them from doing the work.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
And in college, I had like an abusive, like emotionally abusive boyfriend, and it took me, like, we were together for almost 2 years, and it took me so long to try and get to break up with him because I didn't know how. It was my first relationship, late bloomer, first relationship. Didn't really know what I was doing, and I thought, well, you know, like if you love someone, you work with them. And that's a terrible mentality, honestly. And I shouldn't, but you know, I know where it comes from and I worked through that and I don't do that anymore. And I haven't had you know, thankfully, an abusive partner like that since. But you gotta have strong boundaries and you do have to work through your stuff. But I didn't work through my stuff for 10 years.
Honestly, in my experience, I will say this. My most recent relationship, I came to the terms after we broke up. We broke up last year, like June, July-ish. And I literally like sat there in the aftermath and I was like talking to my friends and they were like, yeah, Justin, what were you thinking? And I was like, you're very correct. And they were scared to even tell me because, you know, they didn't want to like rain on my parade, which like is completely understandable. But I love the fact that they even came up to me afterwards and, you know, let me know that they could see the fact that I wasn't genuinely happy in the relationship. And I even came to the realization myself that I was in it way longer than I needed to be. Because, like, even on the first date, we had our first kiss, went back to his apartment, and, you know, we were making out, and it got, like, slightly sexual, but it didn't really go anywhere. And literally as I was leaving, we were talking about how I don't know how to swim, and then he was like, oh, you really are black. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he, like, apologized and said that he is reading a book on critical race theory. And then I was just like, I guess. I kind of pretty much froze there, and I was just like, we're gonna ignore that, I guess. And that's one of those things where I look back on it, and I'm just like, yeah, it lasted a lot longer than it should have, and I should have left earlier than I, you know, did. But it's one of those things.
When a potential love interest says that, like in the beginning, it's like it gives me the
like it rings an alarm.
Yeah, 100%. But if it's like one of my best friends who says it, I'd be like, LOL.
Right.
It's funny the standards we have for each other. But yeah, my friend said something like
on a first
brown
date,
joke, I'd be like hilarious.
Yeah.
But if like a partner says that, like early on, I'd be like, why would you feel comfortable enough to say that to me? You don't know me.
And yes, he was white. We're gonna move on from that though.
Yeah, interesting. And when we force it, I think we don't get it in the way that we're supposed to, or like what we're supposed to, because we're coming from it from a place of lack, right? And manifesting, you can't come at anything from a place of lack.
Yeah.
Can't come at it from a place of fear.
If you don't feel like you have the resources to get where you want to go, you're never gonna like feel like you can even get there.
Exactly. And you know, we plan everything in our heads the way we think it should go, or the way we want it to go. And we have to stop doing that, because then you have to give room for the universe to surprise you.
Actually, off of that point, I was talking about it on TikTok and like my latest newsletter on Substack, The Lovers Media. Go subscribe, guys. Haha. But no, I was talking about how, have you heard about the people on TikTok, or like have you seen TikToks of people being like, I feel like not being able to date or not dating in my adolescence has like kind of stifled me for dating in my adulthood? Like, have you seen any of that talk?
I haven't seen any of that talk, but that's interesting, because I was a late bloomer for sure. I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 20.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I would say like I didn't really date in my adolescence. You know, I didn't get hot until junior year of high school. So
that part. When did I get hot? Wait a minute.
When did we get hot?
When did I get hot? I think. Okay, no, I remember vividly being in high school and like, oh, I was such a pick-me bitch a little bit. I was like,
were we not all pick-me bitches?
Talk about that. Actually, if you're not cringe, you're not free. But the thing is, I was in high school and I was talking to these like girls, and I was like, yeah, guys, I just like, I know I'm ugly. And they're just like, no, you're not. And I was like, oh shit, I'm not. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I was just like, okay, might as well feed into it. And now I have a huge ego.
Oh, same. You know, I never thought I was ugly though, even when I kind of...
No, I thought I was fucking hideous. I was like, who put that in my mind?
Well, you know, growing up, I just like, I went to a predominantly white school in Westchester. So I didn't necessarily feel like gorgeous, right? You know, as a woman of color, it's really hard to feel that way because the standard of beauty is being white.
Yeah. Oh, let's get into that.
But I also didn't feel ugly either. And I can't really explain what that was, because I was like, I don't know, I felt like...
Did you just feel like you were like mid?
Maybe. I think I just always accepted who I was at every space. Like, I wasn't an insecure... I've just never been by nature an insecure person. Like, I was like, you know what, if I'm ugly, I'm ugly. Whatever. But I'm
no,
not,
yeah,
because
like,
to me. I'll
like,
find a
what
way.
am I gonna do about it? Like, it's really like it's not my business actually.
But I'll find a way to be hot in my own way, right?
Right.
But I think that's what a lot of people of color do in general. You know, like, I'll find a way to make it work. I'll work 10 times harder, or this, that, and the other thing. Like, we always find a way. Yeah. So the standard of beauty. What were we saying? White people. I think I'm sure it does stifle you to some degree, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, the world is different now.
Yeah.
You know, like dating now, I think is just so, like, there's just so many, there's the internet, and like, I don't know, I
don't think people can tell the difference between like people and their profiles.
Right, or like porn addiction, or people don't know how to talk to each other now.
Too.
And like, I don't know, maybe like it's a good thing I didn't date in my adolescence. I don't know if it's I just don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either. You know, I'm fine. Like, I'm well adjusted.
Yeah, I feel like it's a damaging belief to be able to just sit here and just like since I didn't date when I was a teenager, this is like ruining me for the rest
Right.
of my adult.
I
Like
don't think that's
everybody
true.
does things in their own time.
In their own time, and like just because you didn't date in your adolescence doesn't mean you're not going to meet the love of your life at 25 or 30 or 50. Like it depends on the healing work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing it, you probably won't meet someone until you're 60, or like you won't be able to sustain that relationship. But no, I don't think your adolescence determines your dating in adulthood. I think that's so limiting.
Yeah.
You know,
this like forever focus on youth being like the epitome of your life, and it's just like, look how many old people we have in office doing whatever.
Yeah, not that should be our aspiration to be 80 years old in office, because I don't want to do that.
I shouldn't be working past like 60.
You should be living your life.
I shouldn't be working, period. But
I should be retired in Costa Rica.
That's just what I'm saying.
No, that's not the aspiration. And like, but your life is long.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be so many phases and, you know, different chapters. Like you're not just living for your adolescence. Yeah. That's insane. And if you peaked in high school, I'm sorry.
No, that's a bad thing. Focus. Like, that is a bad thing.
There's so much more out there, and I think it only gets better. Like my 30s are my best years.
Yeah.
Like you care less about what people think about you.
Thank God.
You don't have FOMO anymore. At least I.
Oh, thank God.
Like, I know FOMO was really tough in my.
Last weekend I was like sick with like a cold or something. I missed like 3 parties in the middle of Fashion Week, and I was like, I hate this.
Okay, but like I would have wanted to go to Fashion Week.
You know what I'm saying?
That's different though. I'm talking about like
I
just
had
some stupid house party.
I had like multiple Fashion Week events, and then also a girl that I met at NYU, she invited me to her birthday party. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't really have like a lot of friends at NYU because I feel like a lot of the people are weird. But but she invited me, and I was like, oh yes, I will show up to this. But I got sick, and then I couldn't go. And I was like, I am doomed to be friendless for the rest of my college experience.
Okay, but that I understand.
Right.
I just mean like a random, like, we have to go to the bar this weekend.
Right.
Know?
Okay, so it was a special circumstance.
Special circumstances. Like I get Fashion Week. I'd be upset too.
Yeah.
So I get it. But yeah, no, I don't feel like FOMO about like all my friends are just going out this weekend. I don't care. Go.
That's fair. Literally, like, do what you do in your own time.
Right. So that's what's great about your 30s. You just don't care.
The FOMO that I do get now is more so just like people traveling a bunch, because I don't want to be here, obviously, but.
Well, that gets better in your 30s too.
You were just in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I'm crying my ass out about it. And then my other friend, Kiana, she was in London. And I'm like, guys, just put me in your suitcase. I swear I'm small.
Well, you'll be able to do a ton of that in your 30s because you'll have money.
I hope so.
You will. And
thank God.
But that's like just your 20s. You don't have the funds. You don't have the confidence. You know, as you get older, you're like,
I have an iPhone and a dream, y'all.
Yeah. As you get older, you realize a lot of those things, like a lot of things don't matter anymore. And you're like, let me focus on my work. Let me focus on myself. Let me take care of myself.
So when did you have the realization that you should be focusing more on yourself more than anything? If that was a thing.
I think it started towards my late 20s, because I was like, my friends were still partying, and I was living in Connecticut, and I wanted to grow my career. You know, I work in TV, so I have really big dreams of like where I want to work, and I always want to work in New York City. I just figured that was the best place for me to grow my career. And I was at the time.
Did you grow up in Connecticut?
I grew up in Westchester, New York, but I got my first jobs in Stamford, Connecticut, and I was never going to grow at the company I was at.
Yeah.
You know, it just wasn't that kind of. It was a big company, but it was never the kind of place that would promote you to upper management positions. And it was, you know, low paying.
Right.
So I was like, no, I need to leave, and that's the only way to do that is to jump. And I got my next job in New York City at like a nonprofit broadcast, like public broadcast, and it was really healing. It was great, but it was super low paying. It was even lower paying than my Connecticut job. Yeah. But I figured, you know, sometimes you have to take a step back to jump 3 steps forward, right? Yeah. I did that, and then ended up, you know, I don't know how we got into this, but into like a startup, and then ended up at like a major financial company while doing video, and then now I'm at another financial news company, and yeah, like I started really focusing on myself towards my late 20s, realizing like this is what I want to do with my life, and I want to focus on that, and started getting away from like more of that partying, and just like I felt like we were just doing the same thing every single weekend, and I was like, why are we doing this? And a lot of people didn't agree with me on that and felt like it was a personal attack, and we are no longer friends. And that's another thing about your 30s, you are going to lose a ton of friends, and it is okay.
Classic.
Let them go.
Yeah.
The more you
do not hold on to people. Do not hold on to people. The
more violently it will be ripped away from you.
Absolutely.
Because I had to experience that, and it was literally the worst like 4 years of my life. Because I always feel like if you love people, if you care about them, you work with them. Yeah. The thing is, not everyone.
And you should be able to let them go.
Yeah.
Like if they need to go.
Not everyone is going to work with you, and not everyone is going to be able to go the places that you were meant to go.
Yeah.
Like my journey doesn't include certain people because they don't have the ambitions that I have,
or the resume,
and we're just not aligned, and that's okay. Some people want simpler, smaller lives, and that's okay too. And some people want really big lives. Like
I feel like we want like medium lives.
I want medium, maybe
medium large,
like a medium large.
Large.
I'm not saying like I want to move to Dubai and become.
I don't want to set foot in that
a tycoon or something like that.
I don't want to drill no damn oil.
Right. I'm not trying to do any of that. But I do want really cool
TV
jobs. I want to travel to a lot of places.
I want a retirement fund.
Right. I don't necessarily want a traditional life. I don't really know 100% what that looks like yet.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Especially like now, a lot of people are getting laid off. Like I know 4 people within the past week who got laid off, and it's just like I'm jobless, so that's beyond me. But like it's insane to see all of this happening, and like we just got into this presidency like less than a month ago. Like where are we gonna go for the next like year, let alone 4?
I don't know, but
answer me. What's your answer?
I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it's really divisive right now, and I'm gonna give the most PC answer possible. But all I know is that we just gotta stick together, and build community, and I think that's what's lacking in our country is lack of community, and this is why we're in a place where it's so divisive.
And I think it's honestly affecting our love lives as well,
100%.
Like at the same time.
Because it's so divisive, the dating pool shrinks.
Yeah.
Because like I know I'm not gonna date someone that doesn't align with my values at the end of the day. So
like everybody thinks dating in New York is like great big like pool of people, but like there are so many filters on everything that to actually like find the people that you want to be around, it takes so much effort. And
I know they also say like dating's a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. And again, I think it's the person that is meant for you will find you, and you'll find them. It's not about
explain the numbers game for the audience.
Right. Like you have to kiss a lot of frogs.
Okay.
To get to the one, right?
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true. I think that you can be as selective as you want. Yeah. I don't think you need to go on dates with every single, like as many different personalities of different people. You don't have to.
That's something I'm learning right now. I don't have to say yes to every guy who comes my way.
Right. I think that if you do the work, you can find the right person.
Right.
So.
I think that's honestly...
You think that's it?
I think that's solid.
Okay, yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Lovers Pod.
Thank you.
This is episode 6. I forgot what the title's going to be.
Wait, I'm episode 6?
You're episode 6.
I feel like I should have been like at least top 5.
You missed it by 1.
Oh, wow.
This is Sam Lobo. Where do you want these people to find you? Do you want them to reach you anywhere?
My Instagram is @SammyLobo with a Y, not an I.
Not an I with a Y. It's on the screen somewhere right now, I think. I hope. Okay.
Graphics are important.
Graphics are very important. Justin, edit this right now.
What's the most important thing about a podcast?
The editing, I feel. No.
Or a show or anything.
True. Sam is also in production. So we literally set this up on a stool. So we're producers, I feel. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. You can reach me on Everybody Loves Justin 13 on Instagram and also on Substack and TikTok. I do all the things except for Twitter because Twitter sucks.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.